soccer moms, soccer dads, wine drinkers, and beer drinkers. Welcome to the Middle Age Moments Podcast, where they discuss everyday topics that your basic bitch,
who are you calling a bitch,
and grumpy ass men, you believe this shit, face daily. Hosted by your favorite imperfect couple, Chad and Erika Jump.
Hello and welcome to the Middle Age Moments Podcast. This is episode 1. I am your host, one of the hosts. My name is Chad Jump, and we are here with the lovely Erika Jump.
Hi!
And like I said, this is our first try, so we're going to give it a whirl. And, today's episode, we felt like we would talk about, first of all, we want to introduce ourselves, right? Like, we have people that know us, that may not know us, that may hate us, and just watching us fail is what's going to really make them happy. But nonetheless, there's going to be some family members that are watching this, family members that may not have even met still. There's some of those family members that live very far away, and we just haven't gotten there yet.
Like Kansas.
Yes. Yeah. And then there's also some of those family members and friends that invite us to stuff all the time, and my wife goes and I don't, or vice versa. So there's that chance too. So I just want you guys to know, regardless,
we're real. We're not AI.
If any of that is true, and it's like sitting down inside of you, and you're like, yep. I just want you to know it's me, not you. It's definitely me, always. So, the first thing I thought we would do is we would introduce ourselves, kind of get a quick, short story about how we got here.
Yeah.
And, Eric and I knew each other in the 90s. It was, she was in high school working at a grocery store in Lewisburg. I was working at a grocery store in Harrisonville, Missouri.
Big shout outs to those towns off the bat.
Yeah, you raised some good ones, I promise you. There's some Lewisburg, past Midway alum that Harrisonville and Lewisburg, really made into some great people.
That's right.
But anyway, our paths never really crossed. My brother really hung out on that side, and I did not. So whenever I first met Erika, it was kind of just mutually through my brother. And one of the funny stories is that she came over to wake me up and get me ready for my brother's wedding.
Yeah. And, best friends with the bride. So had to do something if the brother was still asleep. So.
That's right. And so this was like in the 90s or early 2000s, like maybe.
No, it was in the 90s. It was
25 years ago.
7?
I thought it was 25 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's 97.
Well, it's 24. So it was definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, math isn't
she's
right.
not a math teacher. But anyway, so she came over, and like I said, in those days, I was probably hungover. I had just drank Mad Dog 2020 or some Aftershock.
They don't make that stuff anymore.
Man, I tell you what. I need to check and see.
No. Why would you drink that? That's like drink. I'm sure.
Because I remember like drinking it and then it was like cereal. You would drink it and then you would.
It was like cereal.
It was, because then you would drink it and then you would break the bottle and then you would eat the cubes, because the cubes were inside of it, the little crystal cubes, and then you would eat the cubes, and that was like having a fire Jolly Rancher.
Really? There was pieces of something in that bottle? Okay. Kara, we can find out where that alcohol
that's a whole
went.
other episode. But I need to look into that for sure.
Yeah.
We need to go to the liquor store and find out.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to sponsor, I'll be glad to take you guys
if you're still around.
Yeah, if after episode 1, if we're still around, by all means.
No, I meant Aftershock, not us.
Yeah, go ahead and feel free to sponsor us if you happen to be after one episode. But anyway, so she came over, woke me up. I went to the wedding, and just oddly enough, she was with another person at that time. I was not raising families. She was. And I wasn't even interested at the time in raising a family. But And she had a daughter that was in the wedding.
Yep.
And so there's actually a picture of her and I together in the wedding. And the picture seems to be very comical to people because I'm wearing orange hair.
Well, you made your hair that color.
I did make
like
the hair.
By choice. Like you set out and thought, how much sun-in can I put in my hair? And I think the answer was all.
So the sun-in small short story is I went down to Louisiana. I had a vehicle that had a sunroof, and I was just deciding, I was too cheap to go out and get professionally highlights. So I just
and you said, let the sun in. Yeah. Let the sun in.
It was like the white person's soul glow, just like. So I put the sun in, drove 9 hours, came back 9 more hours, 18 hours round trip. By the time I got to the wedding,
nice and processed,
I looked like it was $1 million. And so I actually feel like I was Slim Shady before there was ever really Slim Shady.
Okay, I mean, I'll let you have it. Like,
so that I had the hair, and so that's actually when Eric and I first met.
Yeah.
But you kind of fast forward it. We didn't really, our paths never really crossed. We were in different areas. I was in different states. She stayed in the Berg and raised her children and all that fun stuff. And so I kind of floated around. Yeah. And, once we became adults, as we get closer to our 40s, we found each other at
Facebook lets you know when your friends are attending events.
They do.
Yeah.
And so I remember sitting at McFadden's with some friends of mine. Yeah. And I got a ding or a notification of some sort, and Erika was at the Dylan Scott concert at the Power and Light. And so I was like, hey-o. So I was like, hey, I'm over here, come hang out, whatever. So she and her friend comes over, and obviously I'm there with my friends. And
yeah,
what?
What? We just had friends that we were there with.
I feel like you got something on your mind.
There was lots of friends. You were with all girls but one.
Well, I'll tell you what. Women make the best.
No.
They make the best.
Disagree.
They make the best. You make a great wingman for all my friends.
Disagree.
I have friends that can testify that you make a great wingman.
Right. Okay.
So, these people were friends. They make great wingmen. And I had one guy friend, but he just happened to get the number from the girl that I called over and her friend. So he got both numbers. But kudos to him. Shout out. He was playing the game, and I clearly was missing the vote. But so that's where we re-met. And so Erika took a picture and sent it to my brother and sister-in-law. And I don't even remember what the reaction was.
They said, "Oh shit."
Oh yeah, that's probably what they still say that
sometimes
when we send them pictures. But anyway, so we kind of started talking a little bit then, and then I sent her being Erika, I sent her a message about going to a Nelly concert, and I
you invited me as a friend,
Yeah. And I invited you as a friend because I was going to take my sister-in-law with me. Yeah. Which had no one really intention on going, but she was just doing it out of the goodness of my heart. I truly believe that. But her heart wouldn't let her follow through with it because she backed out. And so,
likely story.
And so, therefore, I was told Erika, I was like, hey, I have an extra ticket. It's $50
for sale.
Yeah, it's $56. Yeah. And she's like,
wasn't gonna pay for a ticket.
I don't think I really want to pay for it. And I was like, okay. Well, 24 hours passes, and it's really hard to find somebody to go to Nelly with.
Whatever, Nelly is the greatest.
It's really hard to find somebody to go to Nelly with last minute. So I was like, hey, you know what? Fine. You know what, Uncle, you win. Yeah. Would you like to go to Nelly? Yeah.
For free.
And so she's like, sure. And then I was like, oh, well, that went really easy.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went to Nelly, and we ran into some of your cousins,
Yep.
and we had a great time. There was one small
It's a weird first date
incident that happened, and I'm not really a big guy, and I do have a big mouth sometimes.
Oh, dude,
but,
really?
But I'm not a really big guy. But when it comes to people that are handicapped in any way, that can't get through a concert or can't see, you know, I become like 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
I don't even know where it comes from. Like, but there was this person that couldn't see and he couldn't get through, and there was a bunch of 20-year-olds, and
they were jerks.
And I just went in there, and and so we were throwing some hands, and he got kicked out.
Yeah.
I got like the Man of the Year award at the KCP.
Don't do that anymore.
Yeah, like, don't be doing that. We can take care of him. I'm like, well, clearly you can't, because the kid couldn't see. So, but anyway, so I got in a fight on our very first date.
Yeah.
But after that night, after that was all said and done, we still had a great time.
We did.
And
really great.
I feel like you said something that really, like,
are we doing
moved
this?
us forward.
Are we doing this?
Oh, yeah. Are we doing this?
Yeah. Because are we?
And I was like, well, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but, you know, I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, and then we'll just kind of see what we want together type deal.
Because I was leaving on vacation the next day.
Oh, yeah. You were going to see your
my brother. Yeah.
And so, so you went on vacation.
Yeah. I called my cousin.
We need to back up just a little bit.
What?
We did hang out later on that day too.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't just like separate after you said, "What are we doing?"
Oh, no, we had a blast.
Yeah, I think we went to the well or levee. Yeah, that was a levee.
Yeah, we had we partied like we were 21 years old. Like it was the 90s.
We definitely partied.
It was a really great time.
And so we definitely were doing this. We went and did the levee and other things and had a great time.
Yeah.
Well, then she went off to see her brother, and I was pretty sick at that time, but we'll get to the reason why I just mentioned that. But Erika reached out to her cousin, and her cousin gave what she considered some sound advice in regards to hearing from me.
Yeah.
And
because you kind of left me, Chad. You kind of left me like, I mean, it's okay. You can date or whatever. I'll be here. I think you even told me, I'll just be here. You just let me know when you want to hang out again.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I wasn't sure. And so I was like, well, I think he wants to see me again. We had a really good time. And so I asked my cousin, I said, all right, I'm going on vacation. I was going to be gone for 7 days. And he said, if this guy reaches out to you, don't reach out to him. If he reaches out to you, then he's interested. And
which was pretty true. I mean, I was also sick, and I was at home, and I was watching some movie with the This Is Us Jack guy in it that drove a car with a dog in it, and
I don't know that movie.
It was a really, really sad
So
movie.
you're in a place, and you're like, you know who I should call? The girl from the Nelly concert.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was very energetic. So I needed
energetic.
I needed somebody to like bring me back up after watching that movie. I don't even know the name of the movie. I couldn't tell you if I
something race or something maybe.
I don't know. But so anyway, so there was some truth to what her cousin said, but also, you know, I was home and in the dumps. But so anyway, she came back, you know, we hung out some more, and the rest is history. Yeah. So I don't really think we need to dwell on everything, but that's a very short version story of kind of where we're at. And so now here we are. You know, we've been together 5 years. Yeah. And we've been married
a year and a half, Chad.
Yeah, I was just seeing if you got it right.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
a year and a half.
Yep.
18 months. Right. Shout out.
Yep. Seeing if you got it right. And so, you know, so here we are. So that's the story of us.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's actually move into the actual episode and the content that
Okay.
We were planning on discussing,
Yeah.
which was dating.
Yeah.
So, boy, I have
Talk
some
about
good ones.
depressing.
I have some good ones. So, man, I'll tell you what, dating right now is like, to me, it's just too easy. Like, for a guy, it's just super easy. You can get a hold of anybody you want at any time, and you can annoy the shit out of them, and you don't even care. And
yeah. Having 24/7 contact with strange people is dating. It's terrible.
And imagine a guy that's very insecure. The only thing he has to do is swipe a certain way, and next thing you know, it's like the old 50-50 rule. I mean, so 50-50 chance she's going to respond. And if she does, you're going to be like, hell yeah. And then you're going to.
Yeah, let's meet for coffee.
Yeah.
Let's go somewhere. Let's do this.
Let's look it up. You want to go to Nelly?
So, but you have to pay for your ticket.
You have to pay your own ticket.
So, you obviously, being single at 40, right? We were both single at 40.
It was.
You got there because you had some bad dates. You got to me because you had some bad dates. Because if they were all great, then you wouldn't have got to me. Same with me. So what's the worst date?
Well,
date.
Can I give you like a couple good ones and then like...
No. Nobody wants to hear good date stories like, we went here and it was lovely and they played violins.
I'll admit, there was some good ones.
Okay.
And there was some that I'm still friends with today. But I will tell you, the ones that were good were the ones that were older. Like, and I don't mean like 50 years older than me or anything like that. But
because then they'd be 90.
Which would be weird. But I'd eat cheap at Denny's for sure.
You definitely would, but you'd be doing all the driving.
Yeah, I would. But you know, they were older. You know, they really knew what they were. Most of them were all professional. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they wanted, and most of them didn't even really want anything. Like, they didn't even want a relationship.
Chad, that's real boring to me. We want to hear some bad date stories.
You want to hear some bad ones? Yeah,
like everybody's got like I said, we've got good date stories. We want to hear like the bad ones because when we talk about this podcast with our friends, they all have bad dating stories.
I know. I wish they would put their stories in the comments so I can read them.
Yeah, like we should definitely do that. Let them they wouldn't do that.
No, they wouldn't do that.
Go ahead, though. What worst?
So a couple of mine was, there was this one that I went to a happy hour with this lady, and she was a couple years older than me. She's nothing crazy. Okay. But we went to a happy hour, which I think happy hours are a great idea.
Yeah. Easy, right after work.
Easy. Yeah. 3 to 6, you know you're only going to be there 3 hours.
You're not investing a lot of money.
No. And so you go to the happy hour, and I bought this girl, lady. I mean, I bought this lady a Michelob Ultra.
Okay.
And, you know, skinny girl drinks.
Yeah.
And then I had just your typical, you know, a beer or whiskey or whatever you drink normal.
Sure. Whatever was on special for the happy hour.
Yeah, for sure. And so she drank like half of this Michelob Ultra.
Yeah.
And she told me, and I thought she was kidding at first. Uh-huh. She's like, I'm coming home with you. I am drunk. And I was like, I'm not saying that I drank a lot, but I had like 3 to her half.
Wow.
And I felt like I was pretty fine.
Yeah.
I feel like if I was to drive, I would legally pass a test.
Okay. All right.
But clearly this chick that half a Michelob Ultra was not having it. So
did she not eat all week in preparation for your date?
I have no idea.
Huh. Okay.
I can tell you.
All right. So what happened?
So, well, I'm definitely going to lose a lot of fans with what I did here.
Okay.
Because most guys would have told me to just like take advantage of that situation, and so I'm definitely losing my man card to some people.
I don't feel like you are.
But I got her an Uber.
Oh, so you were being chivalrous.
Sure.
Yeah, That's what women call it.
I don't know what that is, but
yeah, you are being a gentleman. Being a gentleman.
I was being a gentleman.
Yeah.
So I got her an Uber, and they drove her home, and I followed her in her car, and then I drove the Uber back, or rode in the Uber back.
Okay.
To the happy hour.
Yeah. That's pretty terrible, though.
I mean, I got to finish the happy hour, right?
Yeah. I mean, it lasts till 6. This was probably only at this point.
And everybody saw me on a first. I mean, you can always spot a Tinder date or a Bumble date. You can spot those a mile away.
They're standing
That's
alone.
like, you got it on your forehead.
Standing alone, looking around, the door opens. You're like, oh.
Nope.
That's not my. He's not my person. Nope. So sorry.
So you can always spot those people.
Yeah.
So when I walked in, they were like, "Oh, how'd it go?" And I was like, "Bro, yeah." And then I basically just reiterated the story to them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So that was one, and then.
So didn't she? You didn't go on a second date, I guess. Then, huh?
Never
heard from her again.
I did see her one other time, just out randomly.
Yeah.
I think it was at
a water convention.
No, it's at whatever the Guitars and Cadillacs is now. What was it?
Kansas.
Kansas. Yeah, I saw her at Kansas. She was out there doing the 2-step and the cowboy boogie.
Oh boy!
So I know she had more than one half of a beer.
So that's the worst. Is that the worst date, or that's just one?
No, there was this other one that I got a message while I was at work one time. It was a Facebook message.
Okay.
And they said, how do you know my girl? And I was like,
oh, dang it.
I was like, I mean, like you said earlier, you talk to 7 people at one time.
Yeah.
And so, I didn't know who the hell he was talking about.
Yeah.
So I just exited out of it and
carried on with your work.
Went on about my business.
Yeah.
So then, I went to go meet this girl lady.
Yeah.
And she was very professional. She has a very professional job.
Okay.
So met this person. I went to the restaurant. I ordered a drink, sat down.
Yeah.
She comes walking in.
Yeah.
She orders a drink, sits down.
Okay.
And then we order food.
Okay.
And so, within 4 or 5 minutes later, some dude walks in and he's like, I asked you a question. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, so you're the guy from the chat.
Yeah, it was definitely the guy from the chat. And I was like, oh. I was like.
This girl.
He's like, how do you know my girl? And I was like, and she just looked at him. She's like, oh, my God. And he's like, I asked you a question. How do you know my girl? And I was like, okay. Yeah. So anyway, she gets up. She goes outside. You can see him at the window barking at each other. She comes stomping back in, and she's like, "Oh my God, he's crazy!" And he's right behind her, waiting to see what she's gonna say. And then I was, I just looked at her. I was like, "This dude is not crazy.
Yeah,
this dude." Had no idea that his girl was out skeeting around on her.
No idea.
On him.
Because now.
Yeah. New news.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
So he found out, and I was like, hey, man, no disrespect, dude. I was like, here, have my burger. Yeah. I hope you like mayonnaise. Ew. I was like, you guys have clearly a bunch to work out.
And Who puts mayonnaise on a burger? Gross.
Mayonnaise, ketchup, and tomato only.
Yeah, I know. You've done that. It's disgusting.
Yes.
Mayonnaise doesn't belong on a hamburger. It belongs on a ham sandwich.
This is not a mayonnaise episode.
Oh, it's not? So sorry.
So,
okay.
Anyway, I left them with my burger. I paid for the meal. And I actually did order him an actual drink.
Oh, that was nice of you.
And then I paid the tip, and then I left.
I can't imagine, showing up and your person's on a date. It sounds kind of like you were in the middle of the day, too.
Yeah, it was definitely
lunchtime.
Like a Wednesday at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, that's really...
And
that's
so
bad.
I bet you if I go back in my Facebook messages, I bet you I can still find that.
Oh, what do you think he's doing now? Can we do a Where Are They Now episode? We'll find out where the Aftershock people are and this guy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Where Are We They Now, the very first time I ever did online dating was late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
And so there was this thing, it was called Web Crawler.
I've never even heard of that. You sound very old when you say it.
web crawler. Web crawler. So web crawler was basically Google before Google ever happened.
Oh, is this where the people get together and play Dungeons and Dragons and things?
I mean, there was some role-playing chat rooms, I believe.
Oh.
I mean, I didn't go to them, but yeah, I'm sure there was like...
Whatever. You were sitting at home in your homemade, night costume waiting to play.
No.
Anyway, go ahead.
I didn't have no costume.
Carry on.
But anyway, there was there was web crawler chat, and then there was AOL chat.
Oh.
And so AOL chat was... Did you not do AOL chat?
No, I was married. And AOL chat, I don't know. Is that Google chat now?
No.
Oh, it's not.
So AOL chat was it was OG. If it came back today, it would survive. To me, if you ask me. Because the way it was is you could go to different cities, right? So you can go so how it would work is you go to Kansas City, room number 1, right?
Okay.
And then once room number 1 fills up, it would create another room. And then next thing you know, if that room fills up, it would create another room.
So you're just in there with a bunch of random people?
Yeah, there's dudes, there's chicks in there and everything. But what happens is you'll have conversations, and the next thing you know, the DM pops in.
Oh.
And then you're having DM side conversations outside of the city, but you picked them up from the city, right?
Okay.
We don't have nothing like that right now.
No, there is definitely
And
not.
I promise you, if it came back, it would be a hit.
I don't think
There would be some creepers on it now, though. There wasn't creepers on it then. I mean, maybe there was. I got lucky. Kind of got lucky. So one of them went really well.
Happened?
I think I even know their screen names.
Oh boy. Nope. We're not announcing that.
Maybe we should try. Maybe we should try to email them to see if they still have their screen names.
No. Nobody has an AOL email.
Do you know what my screen name was?
No. God, no. LSU something. No. Just Eminem. Sun in. I don't know.
So what was big in the 90s? Big.
I don't know. Hair. Big hair. I don't know. You're not going to get. I'm not going to guess it.
So wrestling was really big in the 90s.
Right.
So we had Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
You had The Rock.
Yeah.
You had wrestling. Even chicks watched wrestling back in those days.
Yeah. My little brother watched it, so I watched it. I know the people. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, obviously, I was a Stone Cold fan, but Stone Cold, you can't type Stone Cold in an AOL chat.
No,
nobody's gonna.
Not.
So I was years beyond my days because
really hyping this up.
I started marketing myself.
I can't even wait to.
I was called the Great One.
Oh my God.
GR8 ONE.
Gotta have the 8 in there.
So I was the Great One. And so, as you can imagine, when you name yourself the Great One, in a time where wrestling is big,
wow,
the DMs was
whoa,
all the time.
Yeah, I bet you. Yeah,
so,
people were hoping for Friday night fights or whatever they did for wrestling.
There were definitely some dudes in my DMs.
Oh!
I mean, I'm just assuming there was.
Yeah.
So, but I never ran into them. So, I only went on 3 actual AOL dates, but
okay.
So one of them was fine. It was cool. It's not even worth telling the story.
Okay.
But there was one other one which is pretty bad. I think the boyfriend showing up is the worst.
Yeah, I agree.
This one was pretty bad because I went to Columbia, Missouri, from Kansas City, to Columbia, Missouri.
That's a commitment.
To meet this person from AOL.
Okay.
That was supposed to be in Kansas City, but for some dumb reason, I had to go to Columbia.
You're really rolling the dice here.
And I met this person at the Blue Note in Columbia. And we went to the Blue Note to see the Goo Goo Dolls.
Oh, we saw them last summer.
We did. We saw them a few times.
Yeah, I love them.
And so when we went to the Blue Note, we was watching the Goo Goo Dolls. Everything is cool.
Yeah.
And then I started getting this weird vibe, the keyboard guy.
You weren't getting a great one? You were getting a weird vibe?
Great one was not feeling very great at this moment.
Okay.
So I was getting some weird vibes, and I noticed that the keyboarder was checking out the person that I'm on this AOL date with.
Oh, no.
And
just up there playing magical notes and looking at her.
What I found out was my intuition was spot on.
Why?
Because he definitely was checking her out. Because after the show,
yeah,
I would never saw either one of them again.
Oh, he just whisked her away with his keyboard, huh?
He just took her. I didn't even get a goodbye. I didn't get a thanks for the drink. I didn't get nothing.
Chad.
And so, I've kind of kept this deep down in my pit of my stomach because you and I, we go to Google.
Yeah, is it the same guy?
I don't know the answer to that, but I will tell you this. The reason why you always have shitty seats at Goo Goo Dolls is for your own protection.
Oh, you want me to sit in the back so I can just be like,
that's right.
Is that...
I can't take the chance.
Yeah, because, those keyboardists, I think, it's probably the right thing to do.
So that was a late 90s. That's when the online dating really kicked off.
Yeah.
But now it's taken to a whole nother level.
That's
because you get read receipts now.
Oh yeah. Last time they were online.
You can send dick
No, that is not advice.
No, I'm just saying
giving.
You can now. You couldn't do that on AOL.
Right.
You had to do a equals with a colon or whatever. Depending on how many equals bars you came in there.
Doesn't matter.
But that's what you had then.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying?
No girl. So I can tell you some bad dating stories. No girl, first off.
I'm here for it.
No girl wants those pictures. No girl wants to see it in the sunshine, at night, out in the fall foliage. No girl wants a picture of that. And why guys still, there have been so many comedians and articles and podcasts telling guys not to do that. But you know what guys still do? They still send unsolicited pictures. It's not like women are like, hey, you know what? Can you send? No, you just open your phone. It's like, bam, right there. And no girl has ever looked at it and been like, are you laughing at me?
No, I'm just picturing zooming in it's fishing, guys do fishing and buck pictures. How many points is on this deer, or how big a fish it is, and you're zooming in on it to make your fish look bigger.
It doesn't matter. Zoom in, zoom out.
Well, it isn't going to matter because when you show up and let's say you actually do get to the home plate, and then you don't have
what you see the picture of
copper moccasin that you took a picture of, and next thing you know, you're going to look like an idiot. So So you better pray that you have those things.
But guys,
I just know that a friend told me that.
A friend told you that's good. But if one piece of advice, if you're out there and you're online dating, no one wants to see it. Just no one. No girl wants to see it. No girl's ever asking for it.
Man.
So
I really find that hard to believe. So how about we get to your let's just say top 2 or 3.
All right. So
I think you have 3 probably.
Okay.
I think you can match me.
Okay. So first, one of the worst dates I went on, I got introduced to this guy, and he seemed very, very normal. He had a job in IT, and so we were talking, and he said, hey, let's meet out, and we'll meet up. I think we met up for dinner, and he showed up, and I said, so, you get the conversation going, because when you finally do meet someone in person, you can, I never told people where I worked. That was number one rule. I never told people where I worked until I met them in person. And sometimes not even then.
I'm surprised you even give me a real name.
Yeah,
Did you give your real name on Bumble, or were you Cinnamon?
No. No.
Brown Sugar?
I did give my real name. Do I regret putting my real name out there? Yeah. Do I think that if you're out in the dating world now and you should go by your middle name or something? Yes. Just because there's so many people can look you up, so they'll search.
And you can search images now and just find yourself.
Yeah, I know, and that's just a lot for me. So
imagine searching an image by a dick pic. How many?
Oh my God, Chad!
If you can find the right person, that would be awesome.
So
I bet you the only person that we can find is Tommy Lee.
Anyway, moving on. So I told this guy, I said, so what do you do? And he's, in IT, where do you work at? And he said, oh, I actually do online surveys for money.
Oh, like the ones they used to do in the mall?
Yeah.
Before they closed them? Like Bannister Mall?
Yeah. So he like gets online and does online surveys. Well, then, so of course, I'm thinking to myself, we're in a nice area of town. Like, how do you afford to live in this area and do these online surveys? Well, he lives with his mom.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he lives with his mom. He does online surveys. And kicker, he drove his mom's car to the date.
Oh. Did you ride in the mom's car?
I did not. I never ride in anybody's car.
It?
Meet there. It's a Malibu.
Oh, well, you could never tell them that. I mean, people drive Malibu.
Yeah, I get it. But anyway, so I said to him, I said, you know, I'm a single mom. Was a single mom. I'm not anymore, obviously. But I said, I have a young son that mows some yards. I feel like he brings in as much money a month as you are. And not that I'm looking for money, but I was looking for something that I wasn't always going to be like, oh, well, I'll get that. And I was looking for a partner, not someone that I was going to financially drain me, probably. He was very offended that I didn't take his online surveying and think that it was, I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe he does big bucks surveys now. I don't know.
Maybe he does.
Yeah, I don't know. I never saw him again.
What would you have done if he was like a multimillionaire that did online surveys? Would that change your feelings?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
No, absolutely not. Because...
Change my feelings.
Oh, you maybe he's still single, Chad.
Does he have an AOL?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. So that was, I got up and left. And I felt bad, but I also knew what I wanted, and it was not somebody that wasn't on their own. I know that, you know, and so I don't think that was a big ask, right? So, okay, that was a bad dating story. Okay. So the next one, a guy lived...
I know he's listening right now.
Shut up. He lived by me.
He's going to leave a comment. It's going to be a survey.
Stop it. I saw him at the pool at my apartment complex. And he...
Oh, I know this guy.
Yeah, because you ended up moving into that apartment complex with me.
Yep.
So
we used to have stare-offs while you were at work.
Oh, stop it. So you know how, well, anyway, he was on online dating. I did Hinge and Bumble. And he was on both of those sites. And he saw me down at the pool, made the connection. He got my phone number from somebody who lived in my building. And I was like, okay. He started texting me. His apartment, you know how...
You just give your phone number out to people in your building?
It was a girl. And we just did it like, you know, hey, you want to hang out sometime? Because she went to the pool a lot. So anyway, his apartment looked into mine, you know, like...
Oh, I know.
You know, like Ross or Monica and Rachel and Ugly Naked Guy?
I do.
And so
Ugly Naked... He got a picture of Ugly Naked Guy one time.
Every time I would come home, I'd flip on the lights and he would message me. And all he wanted me to do was come to his house and eat dinner. I don't go to people's houses and eat dinner. I would have never probably went to your house and ate dinner until we went on a few dates. I just don't believe going in someone's home when you're dating is safe.
Yeah, you wouldn't even let me bring you something that you were sick.
I know. Because you have to, as a woman... People can be scary, right? And you don't know why this guy's not in a relationship anymore. So I'll tell you one of my all-time best dating tips. And I don't have a ton of dating tips, but Life 360.
Life 360 and Are We Doing This?
Oh, yes, those are my top 2 dating tips. But Life 360, and I had another single friend, and we joined Life 360 at the same time. And I would tell her, hey, I'm going out with such and such, and I'm going to this restaurant. And so we could see that the other person made it home. And we tracked each other for like 2 years to make sure. And I really think it's a great idea that more girls that are single should be doing this. They should set up, because why not? Why not let somebody know where you are? Because they're a grown up, you're a grown up, right? So whatever you're doing, they should be cool with. So that's a good dating tip, I think.
For women, that's a no for me, dog.
So he was very upset that I would never come over to his house and have dinner. And he was very, very, very angry and adamant and told me that I was very stuck up. I just felt like he was pretty aggressive and wouldn't take no for an answer. And that got to be kind of scary to me, you know? So I had those 2 dates. And I've had some other really crappy dates. A guy met him out for drinks one time. And he actually said, oh, let's go here. And it was by his apartment complex. Well, he could walk to the restaurant. And he did. And not the guy with the mom's car, not the same guy, different guy. And he walked to this restaurant and he was sitting there. And you know what sangria is, right?
Yeah, the Sublime song.
No, it is a good song. But he ordered sangria, and sangria has all the pieces of fruit in it in the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, the bartender knew him and loaded his cup up with all of this fruit, and he got so drunk. And now I knew why he walked there, because he could just walk home. And so within maybe he dates your half a beer girl now.
Maybe.
But he was so drunk, like within an hour, and he's like, oh, let's order another drink. And I was like, no, it was like a Sunday or something. And I was like, no, I'm gonna eat. And he's like, well, I'm just here to drink. And so I left. He left him there. The bartender, and as I was walking out, the bartender looks at me and he goes, this is he does this all the time, and girls leave all the time.
Wow.
And I was like, really?
That is irregular.
Yeah. And I was like, this is, but it sucks. Like women out there right now that are trying to find, and not have a guy that has tons of baggage. Like,
whoa. Like,
well,
let me Zach Morris this for a second.
All right, fine.
This is a timeout moment. So it's not just women. Like,
right.
I just gave you some examples.
Yeah.
Dating back to the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So it's definitely mutual.
Yeah.
You women probably see it a little bit more, and because men just aren't as vocal about it. But
yeah.
I think dating in your 30s and 40s is really comes down to insecure, and you can take that in many different ways. So you can be a very professional person, but be insecure about something about you. And it could be mentally, it could be physically, it could be, and then you take that and then you run with it. So, and I think both people do that, and then you have some people that feel like they have to get drunk in order to be themselves.
Yeah.
And, and then you run into a bigger problem.
Yeah.
But then you also look at kind of like the older people, like, in your like 70s and 80s. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Like if I had to do it then, I don't even know what I would do. Yeah. But, like, do you go to a different church if you've already been to the same church for 30 years and you haven't found anybody yet?
Know.
Do you go to, I know churches have like, single, groups and things like that where you can hang out and things. But what happens if you're in that group for like, 3 years and 5-6 years and Jimmy hasn't asked you to talk to you yet or whatever?
You gotta join another church.
You gotta, do you?
No.
I'm asking.
I don't know.
Do you join another church?
I don't know.
Maybe do you just change religions altogether? Because the other religion might be a little...
You're talking about people in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, we don't know what they do.
No.
They're hoping and praying that they find somebody too.
Yeah.
And they don't want to go through the rabbit hole of online dating. So,
Can you imagine?
And they can't afford to go to bars.
Can you imagine dating in your 60s and 70s?
No, I can't. I would never.
First
of all, I'm not dating after my 40s.
Yeah.
Like,
you're welcome.
If I'm spending any money, I'm spending my money on NFL Sunday ticket.
Oh.
Maybe some a garage refrigerator full of my favorite beverage.
Yeah.
And dog food for my best friend Bo. That's my life after 40. Like, because going on dates was just too much. It was a very expensive job.
Yeah.
It was like
It was a job.
It was
Yeah.
a second job.
Yeah.
And you had
That's
to have
why
an
people
answering
take a break.
You had to have an answering service.
Yeah.
You had to put an autoresponder on your DMs. Like, it was exhausting. So
You didn't talk to me for 4 hours. I know you were on another
I know. I
date.
saw you.
I saw you online.
I saw you online, and I saw you read my post.
Oh.
I could still see you're online on Facebook.
Oh, jeez.
But,
Yeah.
I might have even said that once. But,
I'll tell you, like, out of the dates that I went on, like, what set you apart from other dates that I went on. And I think I wish more people were like our first date. You were very genuine. I thought I knew exactly what you wanted. And I felt like I communicated exactly what I wanted in the future.
Well, make no mistake, I wanted to leave that Nelly concert.
Nelly was really bad. Like, why?
So, but anyway, this is, I don't know if anybody got anything out of this. Obviously, we talked about ourselves. We talked about our own bad experiences. Yeah. I don't know that I have any hope for you. Yeah. But I know that there's obviously,
there are good people.
There are good people out there.
Yeah.
And they're just as confused as you are.
No doubt.
Just be cautious of what you're doing.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm more curious about, not necessarily you or I don't think neither one of us want to hear this answer, but, do people, like, historically, like, when they get to the point where they don't want to date,
mm-hmm.
Do they just go back and redate old people?
Oh, maybe.
I mean, I know the answer on mine and your end, but
yeah,
I don't feel the need to share that. But
yeah.
I'm curious if you guys do, because it would make me feel and Erika feel normal. So I just gave you the answer of what we did. Because I know people that do. They just go back and redate the same old people because they know what they're going to get.
Yeah.
And, it's, it may not be great, but it's good enough for now.
And it's comfortable.
Yeah, it's good enough for now.
And, you know what to expect.
You know what to expect.
Man, we could probably talk about dating for hours. Like, really.
No. I feel like we need to bring more people in here to get their perspective because...
Gosh, too bad there's not an AOL chat room.
I feel like I should just start I should just start sending invites, and whoever shows up, that's who's going to be on the show. Just send them. Come on.
No, we're not doing that.
Let's hear your side.
We're not doing that.
And then we'll just
It's not a round table.
Yes.
It's not a round table.
It'll be like pressure luck.
Oh, yeah. Your turn. Your turn. No, we're not doing that.
Anyway, this was episode 1. We hope you enjoyed
we're
it.
done?
Yeah, I'm wrapping this up. I got to go to bed.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
I guess I'm done too.
I just missed the national championship for this.
Oh, all right. Do you mean see who won? And I can tell you.
No,
before
I don't want people to see my face live when I see who won. So we appreciate you guys listening. We hope we are able to make it to an episode 2. Hopefully by then...
People will listen.
Hopefully by then, Aftershock picks us up as a sponsor.
Oh, gosh, I hope so, too.
Or Mad Dog 2020. And
we can set their bottles behind us.
Yeah. I'll drink them.
No, we're not doing that.
Okay.
No.
All right. So anyway, thank you for being a part of our program and listening to us. And if you would, please share, like, subscribe. Help us grow this thing. It was a resolution that we decided to do in 2024. Yeah. It's basically to just help us. It's kind of a communication tool for my wife and I to discuss things openly. And a lot of it's very candid. She doesn't know what I'm saying.
No idea.
I don't know what she's saying. So she's hearing things for the first time.
Yeah, great one. I sure am.
I'm hearing things for the first time. So, hopefully you get something out of this. You at least laugh. We tried to be quick, but not hurry. So thanks again for listening. Like I said, please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Middle Age Moments. Visit middleagemoments.com for previous and future episodes. Until next time.